Hi there, what genetics means to me. Before I get into this conversation here about what genetics means to me, I think I can hang on to it in my brain housing group long enough to go over a couple of things here from a couple of previous videos that I made, videos I downloaded. So here it is, the last one before this one. You see they didn't let me put an ad on it. It's probably, I guess, probably wouldn't be too right to have that on there, but I'm going to write a book about my history, and it's going to be probably the thickest book that I have ever written. I don't know if it'll be the thickest book that I'll ever write, but it'll be pretty thick, I guarantee you. But anyways, the stem of talking about this in particular comes from this right here. Here's the next one down the line, a few videos down. This video I had not shared because I was testing my screen to see how if it looked good or not. Just testing it out. But anyways, that was kind of what I thought. I thought it was like kind of satanic, really evil for somebody to cap a bunch of people like that. I think it's terrible. But anyways, here's another one right here. They wouldn't let me um, do their monitorizing thing, but they've got people viewing it. So I don't know what they make up their own rules. They review all these videos and decide whether or not they're going to let you monetize, which means that the ads that go on them could eventually owe you money if you get enough views. But just my channels have always had kind of a problem taking off. It didn't from the beginning, but there was a couple political things that I was saying to the type of people maybe that I was drawing in. Being this guy right here. These are my these are my four channels. I have none subscribed there, one subscriber there. I think I even got into it with the subscriber that's on that channel there. Inform Media. I call myself the right wing cowboy because I am called. My dad calls me the cowboy. He calls me cowboy. So, anyways, right wing cowboy, and then Circle on the Rapper. The reason why I call myself Rapper Legend is actually because of Roseburg. Because one of my friends told me, they made me realize that we were legends from that place, from the west side of Harvard. Anyways, that was where our clique was from or whatever. We're uh, didn't ever really talk about being a gang or anything like that. We are just a large group of people that hung out together and knew each other. Weird things happen from us. It's kind of just it's weird, but I'm just showing who all my channels are or whatever, so that you can. I'm just being open and honest. But anyways, the Oregon shooter did not witness my video. Clarification. If you go to my videos and you look at that, I'll show you in depth why. I personally don't believe that, but some guy got on there and said something to me to the effect of, oh well, it was on Twitter, and maybe the guy looked it up on Twitter, and somehow he seemed to have the knowledge to tell me that, oh, well, maybe the guy looked it up on Twitter and it just didn't show up in here whenever I made this video. That shows that nobody from Oregon has ever viewed this channel in particular. It showed that in that video after the shooting. People from Oregon have watched maybe all these other ones, because of maybe who I know on Facebook and other places like that are familiar with me from Roseburg and stuff like that. Um, but anyways, um, I'm not see that I did this in August 1st. I was asked, "What religion are you?" by a teacher at Umpqua Community College. So, and just I turned it off that day. It started to get a lot of traffic on there, but I made the video private, and then I decided to go back and open it back up because it was just really interesting. There, I don't have it monetized on there. The reason why I argue that I should be making money on these things is because if I have a story to tell or something to talk about and it's exclusive to what's going on right there in the present, wouldn't you prefer if somebody had good intentions and would say feel appreciative to be able to do things, be able to have the ability to um, teach other people how to read and write and stuff like that. I went and tried to read to children, and my immune system couldn't deal with it, so I was going to try adults, but I don't really have the resources, and I can't keep myself occupied doing that until I genetically balance myself completely. And this is where I'm going to talk about genetics. So now, genetically, I believe this is one thing why I wouldn't bust. I bust Obama's balls all the time. Him and his wife. Not really his family so much. So, but this is one particular time where I would refrain from that. If she was doing all the right things, see, you have to give children like blueberries and blackberries and other type of berries. I always thought, because I work with plants a lot, I've been doing it for about 20 some odd years, just love plants for some reason. But I think for some reason each place grows a different type of berry. So it may have something to do with um, um, the ecology, or whatever you'd say, the atmosphere in each particular place, like kind of like the biodome. If the biodome had a particular fruit in there, it would be vital to your survival in the dome. So I noticed that blackberries don't just grow in Roseburg and other places in Oregon, but they thrive there by the mass quantities. And when blackberry season's in, you could go out there and hit them up. You can strain it, get the seeds out of it, make um, stuff, syrup, whatever, jelly with seeds if you like the seeds. But I'm just saying that the particular um, vitamins or nutrients or whatever that's in those are vital to what people need. And that's one of my favorite pies. Or favorite is the blackberry cobbler. Is so good. I wanted to say, if anybody was traveling through that place in Roseburg, there's two places. There's a restaurant, the Windmill Inn. It's off of Garden Valley. I just wanted to say it was a pretty neat restaurant. I don't know if it's still in business or whatnot, but I liked it. And then if you're looking for an animal, um, I wanted to start talking about the animal shelter that's up by that Umpqua College. Instead of going to Umpqua from where the bridge is, where you get off the I-5 there, you go the opposite direction of the college from the I-5 exit. I'm pretty sure, and you're heading out towards Melrose. Anyways, there is a dog shelter right up on the hill. in that right around the corner, just right in that area, right as you get off the freeway. If you're going southbound, it's to your right. Opposite, obviously northbound, but it's a really good shelter. I don't know if it's a kill shelter. Probably is, but they were when I ever went there and seen them, they were really good with the animals. Even if they do put them down, it's sad, but I just wanted to tell about that place real quick and get back to my genetics. What genetics means to me. So you add different varieties of things to genetics, to your own genetic makeup. And what I'm trying to do right now is I'm not trying to go back and look like I'm 16 or somebody that I'm not. People can say, I could say I'm 40 or I'm 36 or however old I am. I can say that to them and I look young, I look really healthy, but they would look at me and be able to tell, oh, you really are the age you say you are. You just look really good for your age, or for what it's worth. You look very healthy. So that's what I'm getting to. Having more whole grain, and I liked having blueberries. I had them in my diet for like years, for the last several years. I think has been doing to very steadily reverse anything that might have been negative genetically to me, had been helped to alter it in the right way and help me center um, my health and start at least be able to have a place where I can start from and genetically reinsert my good health all around. And I still eat junk food every now and then, but um, I'm not. I am gonna say that some of it I think makes you kind of groggy, maybe act a certain way. Caffeine might bear a little bit on that too. But now, the last thing I'll say before I go, I wanted to talk about natural traits in the wild. So if we were living in the wild and we were natives, or say we were a type of animal, a pack animal, or anything else, I don't believe that anybody could ever show me or prove to anybody else that there is anything genetically wrong or altered with genetically altered or wrong with um, anything in the wild. Anything in the wild in particular is not going to be handicapped. It's not going to suffer from retardation, any kind of schizophrenia, any other kind of bad, um, mental problem, or something that pretty. It's like anguish, is what it is. It's mental anguish. So, are we hurting ourselves genetically? That's what my point is. I do believe, in fact, if you look at the wild, anything that is killed off in the wild typically is injured. Something happened. So they're not born in the wild with a genetic problem, mutation. I have seen some weird um, things genetically with chickens. I've seen beaks, them grow with a beak. Well, that only happened once, but I can recall a couple other instances where it just didn't look right. But really, honestly, if we're not doing things that we're not supposed to do, and everybody I'm sure knows what that is, whether or not you really go with the moral um, compass that's giving you a good quality of common sense, I would say, or not, you still don't lack the ability of not knowing what you should do or not, so, or what's right or wrong. So I just hate spoiling that and busting people's chops over all that stuff, but that is definitely what genetics means to me. is it means that genetically it's not necessarily so much hereditary if you can also show the differences between different people and family members varying there. We're all different. We're a type of species that comes out genetically different and not supposed to be bound or bonded necessarily in unnatural ways or unnatural practices. So um, I believe that it's somewhat of a genetic mutation if people are getting off track of being completely 100% and healthy all the time. So that's what I'm aiming at. It's not the um, what you say, the fountain of youth. It's not the fountain of youth that I'm after. I'm after the restoring of my mind and my body and my spirit, um, completely to where I'm honest with everybody and myself, and am, I believe, definitely will be um, uh, very rational, be able to make rational sense of a lot of things that are just crazy and beyond, your way of thinking. Sometimes you can't put your mind around some of the things that are so mind-boggling what people do and stuff. That's just my opinion.